What is up, everybody? We are getting closer and closer to the start of training camp. It is that time of the year where the delusion pulls me back in. I get excited for the season only to get crushed. You guys know how it goes, right? But with that being said, this video this week, we're going to talk about one of the Saints' young stars, Taliese Fuaga. Listen, had an excellent first year, rookie year at the left tackle position, right? But by all accounts, it looks like he's going to be moving over to the right side at right tackle where he played in college because the Saints did draft Kelvin Banks Jr. And it looks like that is going to be the move, at least for now, right? Things could change in training camp depending on how guys perform. But as of now, that's what it looks like. So I thought for today, we take a look at some of his reps that he had against some of the league's best pass rushers like Myles Garrett's, Micah Parsons, as you'll see here in this clip, just to get an idea of how he did versus, those top level guys at the defensive end or at the edge rusher position. And I think for the most part, he held his own, but let's get into the film to really get down to the nitty gritty of it. Okay, first clip here against Micah Parsons, right? And I think for the most part in this game against the Cowboys, the Saints did a good job of really never leaving anybody one-on-one with Parsons, because Parsons, what makes him so good is, most edge rushers, top edge rushers in the league, they're going to be good, really, really good at one thing right there. They're going to be good at speed, or they're going to be good at power. And the thing about Micah Parsons is he is great everywhere. He can win with speed around the edge. He can win with power running through your chest, and he can win on the inside as well. So you really have to be on your toes against this guy right here, because he can beat you anyway, right? And in this play, he's going to go around the edge, and this is one of the areas that Fuaga struggles. He struggled in college and he struggled a little bit in the NFL, is with the guys that can kind of just beat him to the edge, right? Run around the edge. And you'll see that sort of in this clip. Parsons is going to use a cross chop, right? So let's go through it right here. And again, no harm, no foul losing to Micah Parsons in your second ever NFL game here at this point. So, Fuaga going to take a nice little short set. He's patient with the hands. I like that. But you can see, again, it's Micah Parsons we're talking about here, right? He's going to hit him with the Euro step inside, right? Sort of fake it. I think he thinks he's getting chipped from the tight end, so he kind of makes this little awkward move at first. But then he, again, sort of gives a little fake inside right there, comes back outside with the cross chop. He actually misses with the initial chop, but then he connects with the club right there and knocks Fuaga's hand down. And then he just sort of runs around the edge and finishes it like that. Ball was out by this time, thank goodness, right? Right over the middle to Rashid Shaheed. But you could see right here what I mean, right? Like right now, we're in a perfect position. Fuaga's in a perfect position. His crotch is splitting the inside knee of Parsons. That's where you want, right? But Parsons times that move perfectly, right? Right when Fuaga shoots his hands, he goes for that chop, misses the chop initially, right? But he hits him with the club to finish it, right? And that's all you need. When he hits him with that club, it knocks the hands down and it stuns him enough to where Fuaga stops his feet just enough to allow Micah Parsons right there to win that edge, right? Also knocks him off balance a little bit. And I mean, the dip that Micah Parsons has, he just comes right around the edge. And it's a good thing that the ball was, released quickly, or, this one might have gotten ugly. But that's the first rep. All right, next one here, sort of the same type of deal here, right? And this time, kind of Micah Parsons does an even better job of selling that inside move to get Fuaga to stop his feet, right? And again, when he stops his feet, all it does is make the path to the quarterback quicker, right? So let's see how it plays out. So right there, right? The Euro step inside, Fuaga stops his feet. See, look, he's stuck in quicksand at this point. Then Parsons comes back with a nice club right there to club the hands off. That's all you need, right? Again, against we want to be clear here, a freak of nature in Micah Parsons, right? Not everybody is doing this. This is Micah Parsons here. Right, but again, fake inside, stop the feet, come back with the club, run around the corner, right? And the corner is so short, the path is so short to the quarterback because we stopped our feet. Okay, and we get beat outside. Sort of the same type of play as the first clip I showed. Now, what can we do better here? Again, dealing with a freak of nature like Micah Parsons, we can, stay a little more patient, right? Don't bite so much on that inside move, right? And we do kind of overset here a little bit. So, we're kind of overset at this point, right? Again, we want our crotch splitting that inside leg of Micah Parsons here. We're kind of setting to the outside. So as of right now, we are susceptible to this inside move, right? We're vulnerable to this inside move because we're slightly overset, right? So really, if Micah Parsons wanted to take this thing inside, you know, he might have won inside, depending on, where this rep here goes, if it gets in the way, just because Fuaga is overset here. But because Fuaga is overset, he has to, when Parsons fakes this inside move, because Fuaga is overset, he kind of has to really overexert himself to stop his feet and make sure he doesn't get beat inside at that point. And again, all that does is just make the path around the corner to the quarterback quicker, right? So let's play it again one more time. So we're kind of overset at that point. We have to stop our feet so we don't get beat inside. We shoot our hands, and then that's all she wrote. Alrighty, next one here going against Joey Bosa. I know he's not what he used to be, but he's still a really good pass rusher in the league. And this is a good rep from Fuaga, right? And just to, sort of set the scene here, this is towards the end of a half when the Saints were in hurry up. Everybody on the field is tired. Fuaga knows Joey Bosa's tired. Fuaga's tired. So I really like this rep even more here, and the move that he decides to pull out of the bag. All right, so you notice here, Joey Bosa sort of, wants to go for that fake inside move before coming back outside, just like we've seen Parsons beat Fuaga with, right? But now, again, this isn't Parsons, but this is a little bit later in the season when he has a little bit more experience, right? Noticing what these guys want to do at the NFL level. So watch how he's more patient here with his set and with his feet, right? Gets to his point, does not bite on the inside move right there. Right, stays with that crotch to inside leg ratio, shoots his hands. Watch this. He shoots a strike right there. Bosa, good player, knocks his hands down. Watch this. Snatch trap technique, right? This is high level stuff, high level technique right here. Okay, when he gets those hands knocked down, and now Joey Bosa has his like sort of a long arm on Fuaga. Guess what? We just take our hand, knock it right down, fall on him, and win the rep, right? Beautiful rep from Fuaga right here against Joey Bosa. Again, doesn't bite on the inside move like he did before, right? Better set timing, right? Better patience with his set. Shoots the strike. Hands are a little high here. You'd like his elbows a little more tighter and more under the chest here if you're going to go for a two-hand strike, right? Gets him knocked off, but comes right back down with that snatch trap technique and falls on him. Love that rep. Okay, next play here. Again, this is against Bosa, and this time Bosa is going to take this thing inside, and this is textbook example of how to defend an inside move from Fuaga, right? So again, we take a good set, good patient set. We don't overset, because if we overset, that leaves the inside open, and as an offensive lineman, we always want to protect the inside first, because it's the quickest path to the quarterback, in theory at least, right? So again, take our set. This time Bosa comes inside with the move, right? When you see this sort of outside shoulder turn that much in, that's usually a pretty good indicator that we are actually going inside here and it's not a fake. But what I like here about this rep is Fuaga uses independent hands, meaning he's not striking with two hands at a time. Watch how he uses this inside hand to stop this inside rush, right? And this is, again, high level stuff at this point. He leaves his left hand out of it, right? Why are we doing that? Well, in case it was a fake and Bosa comes back outside here, we have our left hand there to sort of stop that, and strike the shoulder and stop him in his path in case this was a fake out, right? But in this case, we just use our inside hand first, right? And then we confirm it's an inside move. Then we can bring our outside hand back in and, complete the rep. So another really good rep here from Taliese, Fuaga versus Joey Bosa. All right, next one here, and I hate to pick on Joey Bosa, but it's against him again. This time, Bosa's going to take this thing around the edge, and it's a really good job by Fuaga here. Again, using independent hands, good set. Watch how he just throws that outside hand first. Outside pillar strike is what you call it, right? Sort of to this upper left chest area. Okay, and again, we want to keep that right hand free. And this is just called independent hands, right? Want to keep that outside or that inside hand free just in case there is a retrace back into the inside. We have a hand there to stop it, at least until we know for sure this thing is going outside the entire way, right? So at this point, we know it's going outside. So he's going to bring his inside hand back to help. Going to give another strike here, and he's going to finish the rep. Boom. Joey Bosa again on the ground. Beautiful, beautiful rep. Okay, now going against Myles Garrett, right? The league's best. Okay. And this is a good rep here from Fuaga. Okay. And again, the Saints are an empty protection here. So I mean, there's no guesswork to it. This is a pass. Myles Garrett knows this is a pass. He's going to fire off this ball, right? He's trying to get to the quarterback, what he does best, okay? Fuaga knows this, right? So he's going to take a strong set here, right? He's going to drive off that inside foot and really get to his set point because he does not want to get beat by Myles Garrett. Now, Myles Garrett, again, sort of sells that outside, comes back inside. It does get Fuaga to stop his feet here, right? But because he lands the strike perfectly here, boom, right there. Nice two-handed strike on Myles Garrett. Okay, it kind of stops Garrett in his tracks and throws him off a little bit, right? Boom, right there, right? It gives Fuaga just enough time to come back out here and recover just enough to again place hands on Myles Garrett and win this rep. Really, really strong rep from Fuaga. I can't stress it enough because again, empty protection. Everybody knows it's a pass. Myles Garrett knows. And you get to this point, we stop our feet, which is not good, right? Not good. Because at this point, it just shortens the path to the quarterback. But because we land such a strong, powerful strike right there on Myles Garrett, it pushes him back just enough to allow us to regather our feet, get back out here, and get hands right back on Myles Garrett and protect our quarterback. All right, this one here, Myles Garrett, best in the league, gets the job done versus the rookie, okay? This is a really clean rep for Myles Garrett. And it comes off sort of like a little stutter swipe here. So you'll see what I mean when this play gets going. Garrett, he's not going to really go full speed. He's going to kind of give Fuaga a lot to think about at this point. See, he kind of just hesitates a little bit, right? Doesn't really tip his hat. Doesn't really say he's going outside, inside. He's kind of just waiting, hesitating, and then hits with a double swipe and beats him around the corner, right? But again, this is just really, really perfect timing for Myles Garrett here. Times the strike of Fuaga perfectly, right? The set, there's nothing wrong with the set. It's a good set, good place point, right? But right when we throw our hands, Myles Garrett, Hall of Famer, swipes. I mean, just immaculate timing. I mean, just perfect timing from Garrett, right? Boom, hands, and then we dip, come through, and we almost get to the quarterback. Ball was out, thankfully. Looked like we had some help a little late there from the left guard. But I mean, this is it's just a really good rep for Myles Garrett. I mean, there's just nothing you could do, right? I mean, knock the hands perfectly, dip and rip through, boom. All right, next one here, and the final one we'll talk about. This time, Myles Garrett is going to go for a bull rush, and he actually gets inside the chest of Fuaga, right? A little lower, but this just shows the strength that Fuaga has. To not get beat on this rep is insane, especially going against a guy as powerful as Myles Garrett. So you see here, Fuaga's hands are a little wide, right? Just like I talked about earlier, you like to see his elbows a little more in tight and a little more underneath, right? Why? Well, because something like this can happen. When you have a guy come at you who's a little lower and a little tighter hands, he's going to get into your chest, right? And at this point right here, our hands slipped off Fuaga's hands slipped off. Myles Garrett, future Hall of Famer, has the leverage advantage, has the hands advantage, has all the forward momentum. You would think he's just going to bulldoze Fuaga, right? And he walks him back a little bit, but the strength that Fuaga has to sort of stay with this thing, and eventually replace his hands underneath right there to stop Myles Garrett. It's just, I mean, it's phenomenal, right? And he even gives a little bit of a bull hop there at the end, right? Watch him reset his feet right there. Reset his feet, reset his anchor, and win this rep. Now, left guard again comes way late. There's no impact that the left guard has on this play, right? The two had already battled it out by the point he got there, or by the time he got there. But again, like if you miss your hands and Myles Garrett gets in your chest, that's usually all she wrote. But he has such strength in his lower body and in his core to hold him off really was just his shoulder here until he can kind of reestablish his hands and reestablish his base and anchor and give the quarterback time to, get the ball out of his hands. So that's going to do it. Taliese Fuaga, huge potential. And again, this video was just showcasing some of his reps against the league's best, right? He lost some, he won some, but this is the league's best. And I think Fuaga is only going to get better. Appreciate you guys watching. Peace.